Yes. Ke bona go ntse le unmuted mo ntate ke a le bona ntate. Good morning ntate Pierce.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Dad.
Re setse re le live ntate go marangrang a rona a TikTok. Jwale re leka hore it's a beautiful morning and we are looking forward for this day. We've always wanted to get a chat with you, so thank you very much for taking our invitation today. We cannot thank you enough.
No, thanks so much, Dad. I've also always wanted to be also have this chat with you, and I believe it's fruitful.
Yes, yes. And you come in very relevant following our immediate completion of an event that was held on Saturday, the 23rd. It was a platform where we invited panelists, and we are going to add you to that edition because we are yet to publish the report. And being from a very relevant Ministry of Employment, we were tackling graduate unemployment in Lesotho, and this was our graduate unemployment dialogue 2026, organized by Goodly Heritage Recruitment Agency. And just to give you a little background, we would have speakers. We would have had the former Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Motezwa Metsing, would have had Professor Makwa, Professor Maraki, no, not Makwa, Professor Maraki, and would have had a Member of Parliament, Honorable Mahalanyane Mukhotu, and would have had also the Principal Secretary for the Ministry of Public Service representing the Honorable Minister, because we had sent an invitation to Honorable Minister Moeketsi Motswane there, and we would have had then the private sector. We had the CEO of a consulting company called BLM, Mr. Mosake, and then we had Mr. Jale, who is a counseling expert, and we wanted now to look at the psychological impact of graduate unemployment. And lastly, I think we brought along the international speaker coming from South Africa. Would have started with him at the University of Gulu here in Ireland, and now he's based in the UK. He was addressing international scholarships. So today, the PS Mosaase, we are inviting you to introduce yourself in addressing this issue of graduate unemployment just in passing, because we want to find your opinion on this, and we are promising to go and incorporate it in the report that's going to be published later today, and you will get a copy of this report.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Lisa. And unfortunately, on Saturday I was at a funeral. Yeah. And as much as the funeral ended early, by the time I tried to log in around 11:20, no one could let me in.
Sorry.
Say that the traffic was a bit heavy.
Yeah.
And understandably so, you didn't want to disturb the speakers who were already on
the platform.
Yeah, on the platform. Yeah. So that makes a whole lot of sense. So I would have loved to have been part, but also I have not yet had time to actually go over the recording, but I definitely will also go over the recording. But my name is Moshe. I'm a middle-aged man.
Yeah.
From the Mountain Kingdom.
Yeah.
And I actually was born and bred in Maseru. So I began my primary school at St. James Primary right here in Maseru, and then proceeded to Lesotho High School, where I did my high school.
Oh, lovely.
And after...
So, Ole Saul in that.
And after passing with first class, as you know.
Oh, congrats. Then
I proceeded to the National University of Lesotho, where I did my first degree in majoring in biology and chemistry, Bachelor of Science in Biology and Chemistry. And this led me to teaching. I taught in high school. two high schools in particular,
Yeah.
where I taught biology and chemistry, and this is, I think, where I found my calling as a teacher.
Oh,
I must
lovely.
admit that I really, really, it's something that I'm passionate about, being an educator.
Mm.
So I decided to change my career, and
Yeah.
then I went to Center for Accounting Studies, where I enrolled and did professional accountancy program, ACCA. So I'm actually ACCA qualified.
Oh,
I'm a chartered accountant, yes,
lovely. Didn't
by
know that.
profession. Yes, so I did that. But because of now my background already and experience in teaching, that already opened lecturing jobs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, first at Center for Accounting Studies, and also at Botu University, which is a private-owned university in Lesotho here. It originates from Botswana, but it also has a campus right here in Lesotho. And this is where now I fortunately got recruited to be the principal secretary in the government in
Yeah.
January 2023. And my experience spans across several ministries. When I first got employed, I got into the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Business Development, and Tourism. It was called that at the moment, at the time, even though it got broken down. I was responsible for tourism and business development, which is more on the small business.
Okay.
And then I later then moved to the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftainship, Home Affairs and Police, where my stay was a bit short-lived, and then I moved to the Ministry of Agriculture. But then I later moved to the Ministry of Labor and Employment,
Wow.
which is, I think, as a PS, is the ministry where I served for the longest time, almost a period of 2 years. So really, really, it's been an exciting and really issues around employment promotion are part of our mandate,
Yeah, yeah.
and have been part of our mandate in the Ministry of Labor and Employment. So it's something that I'm very passionate about, and yeah. So I just wanted to. You
Yeah.
said I should introduce myself. Yes.
Yeah, you got a beautiful profile, a big profile, if I may say, because having had the experience to be in the leading, because I think you are second after the minister in the if you are the principal secretary, but actually in terms of the administration of the ministry, you are number one. So I think now you've mentioned about four ministries that you have served in.
Definitely yes.
Oh my God, that's a lovely profile then. That Moshe, congratulations to you. Not many of us can achieve that. And I know when I met you, I was still in high school. I think it was back in I was doing my high school in Butabuti. There was a move when I met you, and I want to just to get to chat about this as an icebreaker for us because when I met you, it was with I won't be able to mention the names because I didn't get the permission, but you were with a group of people that were singing, and you were very prayerful. And when I first saw someone that I wanted to emulate, follow their footsteps, was how you prayed in spirit back in your university life. And I don't know, can you tell us how
Okay.
this started in your university life? What you had such a burning passion for prayer, and I just enjoyed you.
Okay. Yeah. No. Thank you so much. And but funny enough, I only remember university, not at high school. But the Lord Jesus Christ touched my life when I was a university student.
Yeah,
That's where I really met the Lord and got saved.
yeah, yeah,
And it's also been a beautiful journey of shaping my life. I believe that the church has
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
very, very important role in community development, in national development as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you read the Bible, you realize that characters like Daniel,
Yeah.
They were Christians. They were prayerful. The Bible actually records in the book of Daniel, chapter 6, verse 10, that Daniel prayed in the morning. He prayed 3 times a day, and Daniel was one of the governors during the time.
Wow.
And then also Joseph, similarly, the Bible actually tells us how he just had a relationship with God, and God would speak to him with dreams, and he would interpret them with wisdom that came from God. And God actually elevated him to actually second in command in the whole of Egypt at the time, and Egypt was actually a superpower. So this shows that the church, or I can say, Christianity has a serious role, because God is concerned about things that are happening in the nations,
Yeah.
and we Christians also have a role. So I want to believe also that Christian background has also helped in shaping up my career.
Thank you very much, Nete PS, because I might forget, but I remember when maybe you went to my church in Botabuti, because you were accompanying a group of gospel artists there that were worshiping God and with passion. So thank you very much for that. And now that I just want, before we get into your ministry and the mandate and everything there, just for your views now on graduate youth unemployment, just to tackle it anyhow you want. We had given everybody the background that according to our research, it is 10,500 graduates that altogether in the country we are producing every year. And out of this 10,500, it is only 2,500 that is being absorbed into the job market, and this leaves a net of 8,000 unemployed, and this piles up on an already big unemployment rate that we have. And now this is the reason why we thought to separate we thought to separate this issue of unemployment. Instead of just taking it as a general approach, we thought to say people are getting educated, very educated, but now there is no point after they complete. And I'm looking at a situation where our children are saying, what's the point of going to school, because we are the same. So why don't I even hustle immediately after I complete my high school, so that I don't waste my 4 years of going to varsity, and then when after I complete, I don't have anything to do. I'm the same as someone who started hustling early and they are good at it, and I'll wait for 4 years to start being unemployed, search for employment. There's a story of one of the experiences we had when we in our business of recruitment. A lady called us. She's from Lesotho. She says, Retha-Billy, the way the people are calling me, Basotho people, I'm loving it. In business, they call me Retha-Billy. And now they don't call me Lelisa. And then she says, I graduated 10 years ago with sociology. I don't know what it means to be employed. That was breaking my heart. For that day, I had the heaviest day of my life, because this was so real and lived experience for someone. It was reality. Graduate 10 years, no employment. What would you say about graduate unemployment in Lesotho that day? Anyhow you want to tackle it?
Okay. Thanks a lot, Lisa. Yes, I believe that, as a nation, we are experiencing a crisis of unemployment.
Yeah.
And the Ministry of Labor and Employment, in collaboration with the Bureau of Statistics, released what is called the Labor Force Survey, which is a survey that analyzes and gives statistics of the Lesotho labor market. And we see in that report, the last one, I think it was launched last year, is the Labor Force Survey 2024. It was launched in 2025 by the Honorable Minister of Labor and Employment, and also the Honorable Minister of Finance and Development Planning. Really shows high levels of youth unemployment, high levels of graduate unemployment, and what we call also rise in informality in terms of employment, where you find that people will now get into informal employment.
Yeah, yeah.
Even underemployment, whereby you've got certain qualifications, but you work. I remember in one of my businesses, I employed someone who's qualified to be a teacher, but I had to, they just had to be like a shop assistant in my store, and obviously they'll be paid a rate not suitable for their qualification.
For their qualification.
So that's unemployment.
Underemployment,
So
yeah.
basically, yeah. So basically, this situation that we are currently facing, for me, has been a result of poor development planning over a long period of time, because I believe that our institutions of higher learning maybe they are not agile enough to adjust, to modify, their courses. So we have a problem now of institutions of higher learning producing skills which are not relevant for the labor market.
Oh my God.
So employers, and mainly the private sector, are saying these are the skills that we need, but we don't necessarily find the skills. So
Yeah.
this is why then the Ministry of Labor and Employment also has a role through national employment services of issuing work permits.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
obviously, when we issue work permits for foreigners, it's a case of assessing that there's not that critical skill within the labor market.
Yeah, yeah.
Therefore, we will then allow employers to really bring in people from outside. So basically, in the time that I was at the Ministry of Labor and Employment, what I realized is, like statistics like the Labor Force Survey should drive what I call data-driven policy formulation.
Yeah.
Whereby now we now look at our education system and say, is it agile enough? How do we fine tune it to meet the relevant needs of the market? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes what creates a very good base for employment to come, as I say, some of these issues are not going to have short-term solutions.
Yeah, yeah.
They need long-term solutions, because the desperation now, we saw not too long ago, I think sometime in 2025, around May, June, when the army was recruiting only 500. The multitudes of youth who were there going to apply.
Understand they were in excess of 10,000.
Yes, that shows you the crisis, and I want to believe that not even many of them actually want to be in the military per se.
Yeah.
It's just a source of just
Yeah.
just inspired by the desperation.
Yeah.
And high levels of unemployment. So basically, I just want to bring in an example to say, okay, for example, Lesotho, we have a comparative advantage in Lelisa of water.
Yeah.
God has blessed this country with water. And we also have, for example, the treaty with South Africa.
Yeah.
Whereby in this treaty, the plan is to sell water to South Africa, to transfer water to South Africa.
Yeah.
But when you peruse in detail the articles within the treaty,
Yeah.
one of the things that you're going to discover is that the treaty has got to address four things.
Okay.
Which is the transfer of water to South Africa.
Okay.
Which is generation of hydropower.
Yeah.
Which is irrigation for Lesotho.
Yeah.
And then number 4, which is also tourism. around the water facilities, and
Yeah,
also
yeah,
developing certain tourism products around, like water parks and stuff like that. So basically, uh, just mentioning that, you realize that what we have done for maybe phase one and now phase two, which is still in operation, is really focus more on transfer of water to South Africa.
yeah,
And maybe a bit of hydropower generation.
yeah,
But my point is, if um, we are already having this mega projects in the pipeline that we knew were coming for so many years,
yeah,
why haven't our institutions of higher learning invest in developing institutions like the School of Engineering,
yeah,
so that we produce water engineers, we produce civil
exactly.
engineers, we produce renewable energy engineers, hydropower engineers, because these are the critical skills that you're saying,
Yeah,
yeah, you're going to need in this. So this is why now when the project is ongoing, you find that you lack the skills. And then we develop technicians and artisans around um, uh, these developmental, projects that I'm actually mentioning. But
yeah.
in a nutshell, I'm saying probably there has been that developmental gap
Skills mismatch
where
of programs from
yes,
universities. Yeah,
so now this leads to serious mismatch. Okay.
yeah,
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 in the short term, I believe there's one or two ways in which we can address some of these issues. Number one, for me, it's an issue of skills development.
yeah, yeah.
And skills development, we have to see it not necessarily as an education policy issue, but we have to start seeing it as a labor market intervention that we need to bring. For example, um, now we have to consider reskilling some of our youth, because the degrees maybe some of the graduates have, unfortunately, they're irrelevant for the labor market. So
Yeah, yeah,
how do we transition or reskill them so that they are employable?
yeah,
So these,
yeah,
for me, are some of the strategies that we need to actually look into. And some of the things also that we need to develop that we need to strengthen is also our TVET,
yeah, yeah,
our TVET strategy.
yeah,
Many of us, when we were growing up, when people were becoming plumbers and electricians
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
welders, and in that space,
yeah, yeah.
we considered these guys,
We didn't respect them
uh,
enough.
it's people who maybe academically are not so
Are not
good.
gifted.
But but you
Yeah,
find that in any developing economy, and even in developed economies, now in some other countries that you live in, like Ireland, and even I know Italy, Germany, the shortage of plumbers, the shortage of electricians, right?
yeah, yeah,
So let's say that these are some of the things that we have got to show people, that opportunities are in this space, and then
yeah,
we need
yeah,
to reskill and train our people for some of those opportunities,
yeah,
so that
yeah,
they can actually be employable. So I believe some of the labor market interventions we can do is driving, a short-term skills development programs that can reskill already educate, at least someone who has a degree.
yeah,
They are easily trainable.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
If you have to give them a different skill, their level of comprehension is already sound enough, because they've been able actually to attain an undergraduate degree. So basically, my point that is, um, these are some of the things that we need to look into to see how we can address that skills development, that short-term skills development, and reskilling, upskilling in the short term is very relevant. And then also now looking at our institutions of higher learning
yeah,
in terms of how we can reform them. And this says that it cannot be only a public sector initiative. It has to be driven both by the public and the private sector.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the private sector has to provide input and say, these are the skills that we need.
Yeah.
This is what we need. Because you even look at things like ICT, it's changing
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much now. With data science, data analytics,
And with AI.
the emergence of artificial intelligence. So this says that to just maybe have a basic degree on just ICT
Yeah.
may not make you competitive necessarily within the job market internationally. So that's what we have to. These are some of the interventions that we need to
Yeah, yeah.
to consider and look at, both in the short term and
Yeah.
in the long term. So basically, this is where these are my thoughts.
Yeah, yeah.
That once we restructure, it's not all lost. We can still make a difference. Fortunately, what I've seen, Basotho are very eager to learn. Basotho love education.
Yeah.
And there's also a base of skilled labor. Skills that are needed, but
Yeah, yeah.
which, according to our underdeveloped private sector as a country, you find that we can't absorb these people into the job market.
Yeah.
For example, our health sector in the our public health sector is not growing as much as it should.
Yeah,
Maybe due to limitations of government investment, because now government maybe will not have sufficient funding to develop hospitals, to develop clinics,
Yeah, yeah.
in rural areas and all that. So now you are having nurses who are qualifying a very relevant skill,
Yeah.
midwives, but you can't absorb them into the public sector.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is now where the issue of bilateral labor agreements come, where now it is important also to facilitate such skills to be employed in other countries.
Yeah.
Because then these health professionals, for example, are going to learn, they are going to be skilled, but we need to also have, backup plans and long-term plans to say, when the contracts end, if, for example, they get employed in Ireland on a contract of 5 years, what
Yeah.
then happens when that 5-year contract ends? If
Yeah.
we haven't developed our health infrastructure locally.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
as I'm just pointing out some of my ideas, but if you look in general, there are a lot of possible interventions to address graduate unemployment.
Yeah.
Developing our own private sector as well, very, very important. This is led by the Ministry of Trade. Other ministries, we need to then develop and ensure that FDI comes in.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
as we do that, ensure that there are relevant skills, because also employers don't want, when they invest in a particular country, find that the labor costs are too much, because then they have to start moving someone from Ireland to Lesotho.
Yeah, yeah.
Because then
They don't find the skills there. Yeah.
They don't find the skills locally. So these,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would say, in order for us to address the skills mismatch, we have to then tie it with investment in the country. What are we looking at? Where are the opportunities? And then not only say the Lesotho is ripe for investment in energy, but at the same time we're not building skills and capacity within the energy sector.
Yeah, yeah. Dr. Pierce, you know, the way that you are deliberating on these issues, it's like you were there on Saturday, because these are some of the findings. You referred to skills mismatch, referring that to our institutions. I think they are reluctant to repackage their programs. They want to be static with their original programs, and when you come to them to say this is what we need, they will say, yeah, but they can still get it in applied from the certain module. No, we don't need an applied. We need a program that will address the needs of the industry. For instance, I'll make an example for here. I studied Master of Arts in Child youth and community. Let me tell you what, there's already a department dealing with only children's issues. It's called TUSLA. Of course, I'm a social worker. Now, there's early childhood education, there's everything that deals with children. Now, there's a program for youth and children that are under the care of the state. So, you see, when I see an advert, it will say someone with QQI level 7 in child, youth, and community. That program exactly the way I did in college. So there's someone who has done Master of Arts, or let's say honors in child, youth, and family. This one is going to work in the family side. So our education system is only static, and they are reluctant. They want to hold on to history that we have had this program for 50 years. No, it's not working like that.
I certainly do agree with you. It can't work like that.
Yeah.
And then there's a popular saying that to do the same thing over and over again and expect
Different outcomes. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a sign of insanity, you know. And for so long, we can't.
Yeah.
So this is something that we have got to be very, very critical about. And
Yeah.
It's a dicey situation. It's not necessarily an easy situation because also you have got these people who are employed, who are lecturers who've been there.
Yeah.
It's important also to reskill them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So that, you know, but government can't continue, for me, pumping too much resources into irrelevant causes, unfortunately, because then you are perpetrating the problem. You are not addressing it. You understand? But if you could say, I realize now there has to be an analysis. You know, countries need to analyze. You know, including us as a country, to say what is the future of work.
Yeah, yeah.
What are the relevant skills? You know,
and I know these are some of the big questions coming from the International Labour Organization, ILO, the future of work, and there's even a project to that. I think Lesotho is party to.
Yes. We are a member of the ILO study, and very important. And also development partners are willing to help. You know, even with I know like ILO has been assisting. Has been providing technical assistance for member states on development of national employment policies. Which are also quite critical. But I just also feel that at times, unfortunately, and this is an honest truth, that in Lesotho, the Ministry of Labor and Employment is often an underrated ministry. And people also look at it only from the perspective of just administration and protection of the rights of workers, driving social justice, you know, ensuring that the safety of workers and all that. Those are very important.
So I think
the employment promotion side is not actually quite looked into.
I think that you have led us to a smooth transition now into the Ministry of Labor. Now we're jumping off from the discussions that we had, and this part of yours, we're going to take it into the report. And then because we know that you would have accepted our invitation, so that's why we're doing this even post the event. So now coming to the Ministry of Labor, that PS, people do not understand the mandate of this ministry. What is the mandate of the Ministry of Labor? And would you say during the time that you've been here, you can say there are certain achievements in line with achieving the mandate for this ministry?
Yes, sir. The Ministry of Labor mainly is mandated with looking at the governance of the labor market as a whole.
Okay.
And that's broadly speaking, but from the labor perspective, we ensure harmonious industrial relations to ensure that, you know, employers fulfill their obligations towards workers, and workers know their rights, their voices heard. Yeah, because there's always a feeling that workers tend to be more in a vulnerable, position. This is why the Ministry of Labor is the Minister of Labor issues actually the minimum wage gazette every year,
Yeah.
assessing to ensure that this should be the minimum wage in an assessment of the labor market. And there are labor market institutions like Wages Advisory and Conditions of Employment Board that advises the minister on that. Then there is also now the National Employment Services. The Ministry of Labor actually has National Employment Services as a department, which drives now employment promotion. This is where now we really drive employment promotion both locally and internationally. And one of the key priorities also of the ministry currently is now to facilitate labor mobility in foreign countries, and this is where now also Godly Heritage comes in, and we're grateful for partnerships such as this, because we would love Basotho to get opportunities like the one that you're currently having. It makes such a huge difference, to the lives of people. It eliminates poverty and all that. I feel that I can see there's quite a lot that we've done. We've been pushing some of the bilateral legal agreements with a few countries.
Yeah.
And when we started, we were probably all over the place, but as we were seeing that some seem to be within the pipeline, we try to narrow down the focus to ensure, because we feel that if we can secure one or two, then it sets a very good basis to then drive others, and then it becomes a whole lot easier. So we've been pushing those with Qatar, UAE, we're looking at Japan, we're looking even at other countries in Europe, especially in the health sector. So these are things in the pipeline. But what I want to mention that bilateral labor agreements are not as easy as ABC. Right? Because one, you're competing with a whole lot of other
countries.
States,
Which
have also been in the game for longer than us, have more experience. Some of them have more population pressure than the Soto, so they've been more aggressive in driving labor mobility of their employees. So I feel that as much as we're making strides, what has been a serious impediment and constraint has been the lack of resources. I want to believe that if the ministry can be positioned in such a way that we see how labor mobility can seriously transform the fortunes of Basotho. And that you and me have grown up in Basotho. I'm sure either your father or your uncle or someone you know in the neighborhood has worked in the mines in South Africa.
My father did.
So the Soto for long has been a labor-standing, country. And we've been beneficiaries of that. Because money had been sent home, and remittances in countries that are very, very serious about this, countries like the Philippines. Philippines is a world leader in export of labor internationally. At any point in time, they have 12 million in diaspora.
Even here we have nurses, we have social care workers, healthcare assistants coming from the Philippines.
No, like everywhere there are Filipinos, like everywhere, and they're very, very strategic to the point where they even have the Ministry of Migrant Workers.
I think we need that.
That is actually focusing on that, because
in the long run,
it contributes between 20 to 30% of their GDP, the remittances, the money that these people take home. So for me, it's not an issue of addressing unemployment, it's also an issue of economic development.
Exactly. Export of labor,
remittances, and once it's structured and done well, you know,
Oh,
where like
lovely.
for Kenyans who work outside the country, they've developed a way of them investing back in the country
Exactly,
through our
exactly.
diaspora bonds, so that maybe if like you are in Ireland, like you do, there's a bond that you can actually invest in that is euro based, that you're going to earn in euros,
Yeah.
considering the currency that you're in, that you operate with. And so these are strategies. So for me, this thing, to do it successfully, yes, the Ministry of Labor and Employment is key, but also you bring in other ministries, Ministry of Foreign Affairs,
Yeah.
Ministry of Finance,
Meaning,
to facilitate these remittances and
yeah,
all
yeah,
that, and
yeah,
then Ministry of Education and Training on the
yeah, yeah,
skills development,
yeah, yeah,
also,
yeah.
so that also we build competitive
Ministry of
pathways
Development
to
Planning as well, in terms of
Ministry of
prioritizing the,
Yes,
yeah,
Ministry of Development Planning. So these are key factors that we all need to sit on the table and brainstorm and strategize together. To address some of this, it's not really an issue of the Ministry of Labor, but if you
yeah,
can
yeah.
capacitate the Ministry of Labor in terms of resources to drive this mandate, all the more better. But with the limited resources, I think we did our best
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
most of the fruit was gonna be thin. I think it's going to be thin in this financial year.
I'll tell you, I was so surprised when I saw the system that the ministry has built, in terms of the database, for the people looking for employment abroad and people registering their skills. So that's a very good achievement. I didn't know that you had done that so quickly, to have gone around the world. And I want to give you props because, to be honest, as a ministry, you have exceeded my expectations, because the last time I checked, the Ministry of Labor was about minimum wage and the factories, and it wasn't much going out internationally except for the ILO meetings and the projects coming home. And so I think at the moment, as government, we are in the right direction, to be honest, because Ndate Musha, in this industry, we believe Lesotho is just too small with a lot of educated people. If we can export those people, that country will be one of the, in my belief, the vision that I have is that this country, we can make it into one of the richest, smallest countries landlocked. We can make it in the next 5, 10 years. Because why? When we export 100 people a year, these people come into these currencies that are strong, your euros, your everything. Immediately in that 1 year, we have created 100 millionaires. Now we encourage them like we are doing now. We're doing business back home, and there's more businesses we're bringing home. So when we do that, we are changing the quality of life and the standards of living, and at the same time, we are capacitating ourselves to have our businesses this side that can even attract them, because they have critical skills that island doesn't have. Then we can bring them here. They have. So the way that we see it in that day, Moshe, is that if we take the top number one manager, deputy remains take over. This person is the product of Lesotho that everyone will be fighting to get people from Lesotho, because why? We are bringing the best. The second best are going up, and the people who are unemployed are coming underneath to get the experience. It's a cycle like that we're creating. So to be honest with this, I think this country is just too small. We can make it rich, very rich.
Yeah, I definitely do. I definitely do agree that we one advantage of Lesotho is we do not have population pressure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We don't have population pressure, and that says a population of 2.2 million.
yeah,
It's not even a fraction of the population of some of the major cities of the world.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So when you consider such things, and we can learn even from the country that you're based in, Ireland, because
yeah.
Ireland don't have resources, but they said, what is it that we can do?
Yeah.
And they build their human capacity, their human capital, and
Yeah.
I want to believe that
And their critical skills is so diversified as well. If you check their critical skills list, it's very diversified.
knowing that I'm surely with you that if we can focus on some of those things that I've already mentioned and put resources where it matters most, then we can actually gain traction within a very, very short period of time.
So, Mr.Moshe, thank you very much. We have really appreciated talking to you. We have just 45 minutes on the mark with you, and we are set to have 1 hour. At this point, I just want to let you flow uninterrupted, saying whatever it is you may wish to say on this platform that relates to the Ministry of Labor and Employment. What kind of challenges and solutions, of course, you've already touched on them, but I just want to give you this opportunity to talk about maybe anything that I didn't ask you.
Okay. Yes. These are some of the things that I believe are the challenges and we can address. All right.
Yeah.
First of all, as the ministry has prioritized, the Ministry of Labor has prioritized facilitation of labor mobility so that Basotho find placement outside.
Yeah. We appreciate. Yeah.
Yes, this is something that we have done in a very, very difficult manner because of the lack of budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, the budget constraint towards this. But
what about legal framework? Do you have the legal framework that Parliament has established to support your activities along this line?
Yes, we have developed some obviously legal frameworks. We have got the National Labor Migration Policy. We've also our Labor Act 2024 also covers some of the
lovely.
Some of these issues.
Lovely.
So these are some of the frameworks that we need to develop and work on. There are several others that need working on, like recruitment guidelines, you know.
Yeah.
Because I believe the ministry has to regulate, you know, our
exactly. Yeah.
Regulate and facilitation. Yeah. And then you, private sector players, are the ones who now need to actually then do the work, you know. But we just need to ensure that we safeguard, because as a Ministry of Labor, our concern has always been safe and regular migration. With the risks associated with people moving to other countries, like forced labor, you know, child labor, exploitation, and even you know, there are all sorts of exploitation, including even human trafficking. These are risks associated. So that's why we need to build very, very strong institutional frameworks to ensure that these things happen, right?
And I believe the collaboration also through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Relations, that's where it comes in, because I think they need to help us recruiters with the verification of employers. You know, of course, it will be our responsibility to protect our clients, but also to let the ministry now, in any country of the world they are, to be part of the process, partner with us as agents, recruitment agents, so that they can help protect the nation by verifications as well.
I definitely do agree. I did mention it can't be only the ministry.
No, it can't. You said it already. You said it.
And also, once you start having relations with another country, that's an international relations issue. That's a foreign policy issue. And it has to be guided within. This is why also when we develop some of the bilateral, when the technocrats have worked and maybe develop some of the frameworks, and then we are sending proposals to other countries, we have to send them through proper diplomatic channels, and that's where the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Relations comes in. We work quite a lot with them on these matters. And
who would have, in this event that we had, the dialogue on graduate unemployment, would have invited the following ministers: the minister, Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister Dimpota, who was invited. Honorable Minister of Mining, Honorable Minister Lejoni was invited. Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Sidibia Muchowarane was also invited. And we would have invited also the leader of opposition, Honorable Matibedu Mukhotu, because we believe this thing, we need to hold hands together, everybody doing their part, and we work as a multi-sectoral approach. Definitely we're going to come out with something. So I agree to everything that you are saying, that just to show you that of course they were held up, they were not able to show up, but we had an understanding that these are the relevant ministries. Only the Ministry of Public Service showed up.
Yes, that I think I just want to also encourage you probably not to give up and probably build on momentum.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, we won't.
And see, and unfortunately also Saturdays sometimes tend to be a bit of a tricky time.
Yeah, I see for authorities. Yeah. We're looking to get students to join. So during the school day, they are at school. So that's what we are trying to do.
Okay, I hear you, but I will also suggest that maybe evening meetings could work slightly better.
Yeah. Yeah.
When people are more relaxed.
Oh, I see. Thanks. The evening meetings.
Session,
Yeah.
A 7:30 session local time here in the Soto, that could
I get it. No, we'll take note of that. And thank you for the advice.
Yeah, because this is, the Soto has ratified a convention called Tripartite Consultations.
Okay.
With ILO.
Oh, lovely.
Tripartite Consultations Convention 144, and it advocates for what we call social dialogue. Social dialogue meaning for us to discuss issues of national interest, you need government.
Yeah.
You need labor representatives, the trade unions. You need employers. You understand? And now even the ILO is encouraging what they call tripartite plus, where it's not just your traditional social partners, where it is government and social partners who are employers and workers. But we're saying it is important to bring all the players. What is the issue in the Soto? It's unemployment, and this needs all of us to discuss to see what could be the intervention of trade, what could be the intervention of the Ministry of Finance, of Development Planning, of tourism. Tourism has been identified as one of the key sectors that could lead to job creation and economic development. And the Ministry of Agriculture. So you find all these bits and pieces that sometimes we operate a lot in silos without sitting on the table together to say, this is the direction, this is what we need to do, this is where we need to go.
Yo, Ndate Moshe, thank you very much, Ndate, for what a beautiful and informative approach that you have given us. Very relaxed, and we can definitely come out here and publish that report. We are going to send it to all participants, panelists who managed to participate, including yourself, and we hope it will get to Parliament, because some of the participants, 2 of them were members of Parliament, in former Deputy Prime Minister Date Muthelwa Metsing and Honorable Mahalanyane Mukhotu, who also was very relevant in that he's a chair of chairs, and he's also chairing the social cluster committees for education and health. So that was very, very informative, the deliberations they brought. And we would have had a 24-year-old CEO that we invited, Mr. Mosake, the CEO of BLM Consultancy. Hey, my God, he delivered very well. Very young man, and we are proud. It was the second time he's on our show, and we want to partner with people like that, because imagine at his age running that big. And we're going to do our books through his company. Our books in Lesotho come March final. I want to be done by that man. I'm telling the world already, because imagine starting business at 24. How big he would be when he's 30. So Ndate, your participation and contribution has been very beautiful, and I believe the way we are packaging it now, you will be able. It's already running on our YouTube. After this, we'll be sharing the links with the community, with the public. But what we'll be doing now is to bring your input on the part of graduate unemployment, so that we can now be uh, updating our report that was ready for print and publishing. So we will be publishing this report. The Ministry of Public Works, no, not Public Works, Public Service, Principal Secretary there, she delivered as good as you are delivering here. And then what she said was amazing and alarming. She said the placements they make per year in the Moshe only between 100 to 150, no, to 200. Yeah, she said it's between 150 to 200 placements they make per year. I was like shocked. What? So you can see the role the public and the private sector is playing. If government is only placing 200 per year, it means government is doing the rest of the 2,000. Did you see the 2,000 of the graduates there? So government is only absorbing 200. So that means private sector is taking the 1,300. So we must support. So some of the deliberations they were speaking to the text, how we can encourage those who are employing graduates in terms of the tax men. So there were beautiful engagements there. This will all be captured in our report in that day. And we believe from this time on, we're going to have this as an annual event. But now it's actionable. We are believing, we are trying to get something done in September after the new graduates. Now we believe we want to come home and address these things live. And we believe at that time we should be able to bring together all the institutions in the country to listen. Bring now industry partners, all industries come together, universities come together. Now let's work. When we leave this meeting, we must have actionable plans that are time bound regarding the kind of programs we want as the industry, and we assign you a time frame. We bring Council on Higher Education to regulate, also encourage them, give them a mandate as well, approvals, proposals, guidelines to say yes, it's a new program that the manufacturing in this sector wants. So make sure when you do it, the guidelines are here for meeting an easy guidelines test for the Council on Higher Education. So Ndademoshe, I believe the first thing is to start in life. When we start, we might be fumbling, but the more we do it, we become better at it.
Yeah, definitely that. Definitely, it's always important to start. Do not despise the day of small beginnings.
Oh my
It's very,
God,
very
that's
important
beautiful.
to begin.
Yeah.
Because then we learn, we fine tune and we improve. So we can't expect to be perfect, you know.
You just made my spiritual baby in me to jump, and I'm like, I'm loving it because
Yeah, I'm excited to hear that. And thank you so much. I think this has really also been exciting. Um, One of the things I've been conceptualizing in this time that I've been on the break at home
yeah,
has been what I call the Sutu Skills Development Fund, which is a project concept that is designed to address basically that skills mismatch that I've been
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah,
And it's something where if government puts set up as a fund, we can be in a situation where maybe private sector it can be more like a matching grant type of fund, where let's say maybe a particular employer says I need certain skills,
yeah,
therefore I need to train, do on-the-job training
yeah,
for
yeah,
my
yeah,
staff, yeah, to be more productive, to be more competitive,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
or I need to train an institution of higher learning so that it produces who I need to come. So you have
Yeah.
to address some of those gaps, but you're just narrowing it down. It's actually modeled against the Rwandan model.
Oh,
Rwanda
lovely.
have it, and it's actually quite effective. and improving levels of employment
Thank you for that kind of
amongst
thought,
youth.
Ndati.
And that it's really it's brilliant. It's still at concept level, but I want to believe that with the development that
Yeah.
I'm working on, it's going to be very, very good.
Ndati Moshe, you know, the way that the spirit works, there is something I just want to share, because in our country, I believe we've been traumatized a lot by politics and politicians, and they have trained us that we must hate one another if we do not belong to the same. So they do not encourage diversity of political ideas. So I want to challenge our politicians in Lesotho to say, please, political leaders, do not separate us. We are all Basotho. If I choose a certain political ideology that's different from yours, we must learn that your own. That's why we've got the leftists and the rightists, and they exist together. And so what is happening at the moment is that you see there's a lot of hatred in the within the society. Now I want to share with them the following scripture. I don't know, it's a quote as we close. This is the time where the Israelites were caught up between the Red Sea and the Egyptians chasing them. And now I listened to another man of God say, now it says the people started complaining to Moses to say, Moses, why did you even try to move us out of Egypt? Because we could have died there, we'll still at least be having food, die not poor as we are here. Now look at them, they're going to kill us, and the Red Sea is now in front of us. So what Moses did was to seek the Lord. He asked, what should I do, Lord? And then the Lord said, and then the Lord told Moses, then the Lord, now it starts with the then. And now the then is significant of an action, different from the previous. Then it speaks of something. It speaks of a swift a shift. Then the Lord told Moses to stretch the water, his hands over the waters and divided. If he didn't do it, they were going to die. Then Moses took an action. So that then led to that action. He stretched the waters. And now the Israelites, Moses didn't entertain the. So when we complain, we don't bring changes. We complain, we bring change when we act something out. So that then is the one that saved them, because he then stretched the water and the water was divided into two, and then they walked. They had to move. So if after it opened they didn't move, it says then they moved. So now this man of God was saying, then move. Move. So he says, I know you are in pain. I know they had to. I know they broke your heart. Then move if you want to change things. So these are things that happened. Then you need to move. So a lot of things happen politically. Then we need to move and not be a sad nation. I'm making this call to my fellow Basotho. I love you so much. And Dade Moshe, thank you for taking your time off your busy schedule to share these ideas with us. And I think because you just raised spiritual things, it brought me to this level, and I'm not a pastor. My father was.
Yeah.
So that in conclusion, I don't know what you want to say as we move towards wrapping up.
No, really, I think we have said it all. In summary,
Yeah.
Let's um, address the skills mismatch.
Yeah. It needs to be addressed.
For
Yeah.
us. Yeah, because as much as we may want people to be employed, employers are also business people
Yeah. Yeah.
seeking profits.
And there are compliance requirements as well with it that govern them.
The compliance requirements that govern them.
Yeah.
They're also in business. They want value. They want operational efficiency. They want
Yeah.
to pay people for what they're worth in the relevant skills. So
Yeah.
it's not just a sentiment driven issue. It's the skills to say that you're bringing to the table what I definitely do. I want to believe that addressing the skills mismatch is one way of facilitating this. but also working on then facilitating labor mobility where there are opportunities outside the country to ensure that, Basotho go there. And also, that's also important for future skills development because over time, you may want to come back to the mountains as well,
Exactly. Exactly.
despite enjoying
Yeah.
the developed countries.
Yeah.
You may feel like I need to go back to my country and
Exactly.
contribute, and that's what.
And it must be a good environment, a good development there
Yes,
that you contributed to actually personally.
Yeah, but no, thanks a lot, Tate. I think it's really been a beautiful engagement.
Mr. Mosaase, thank you very much for your time, and we wish you all the best. And the projects that you are having, you are cooking, you are incubating at home while you are still taking that time off. And we wish you only the best because your presence in this ministry, your deliberations, even in this interview, shows your competency there at the Ministry of Labor and Employment. And we wish you, all you can do is only wish you the best and have a lovely day in that day. My regards to the family, and I cannot be any happier because I've always looked for a moment to chat with the brains and the minds like yours. And thank you very much, Nate, for honoring our invitation.
Thank you so much, Ndate. Thank you so much it's been a privilege and an honor to be part of this engagement. I wish you a lovely day and looking forward to the report.
Thank you very much, Nate. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.